build the trust between us. I love you and I want our marriage to work, but we have to be honest and open with each other. Chisom reached out and pulled Chika into his arms. I love you too, Chika, he whispered, and I'll do whatever it takes to earn your trust back. For the next few weeks, both couples worked hard to mend their relationships. Chijioke and Ezine spent more time together, rediscovering the love that had first brought them together. They took long walks, talked late into the night, and supported each other through the lingering doubts and fears. Slowly, the tension between them began to ease, and they started to feel like themselves again. Chika and Chisom did the same. They focused on rebuilding their connection, sharing their thoughts and feelings more openly than they ever had before. Chisom made a conscious effort to keep the distance from Ezinne, respecting the boundaries that had been set. Chika, in turn, found herself growing closer to her husband, grateful that they were able to work through their problems. But as much as they tried to move on, the shadow of the past still loomed over them. There were moments when Ezinne would catch Chisom looking at her with an intensity that made her heart race, or when Chijioke would withdraw into himself, lost in thoughts he couldn't share. Chika, too, had her moments of doubt, wondering if Chijioke's affections for her had gone beyond mere friendship. The unresolved tension between the brothers also began to surface in subtle ways. Chijioke and Chisom, despite their efforts to reconcile, found it difficult to regain the easy camaraderie they once shared. There was an unspoken understanding between them that things were not quite the same, and it created a distance that neither of them knew how to bridge. One day, as the four of them gathered for a family meal at Mama Chijioke's house, the tension became too much to bear. The meal started off pleasant enough, with Mama Chijioke telling stories from their childhood, trying to lighten the mood. But as the conversation turned to the future, the underlying strain began to show. I've been thinking, Chijioke said, his tone careful. Maybe it's time for Chisom and me to take on separate projects. We've always worked together, but perhaps some space would be good for us. Chisom looked at his brother, surprised. What do you mean, Chijioke? We've always done everything together. Why change that now? Chijioke hesitated, searching for the right words. It's not that I don't want to work with you, Chisom, but I think it might help us both to focus on our own paths for a while. It could give us a chance to grow individually. Chisom's face hardened. He could sense that this was about more than just work. Are you saying you don't trust me anymore, brother? Ezine and Chika exchanged worried glances. They could feel the tension rising and knew that this conversation could easily spiral out of control. It's not about trust, Chisom, Chijioke replied, his voice strained. It's about giving each other space to figure things out. Chisom clenched his fist, his anger bubbling just beneath the surface. Space? Is that what you think we need? Or are you trying to push me away because of what happened with Ezinne? The room fell silent. Ezinne's heart skipped a beat, and Chika's hand trembled as she reached for her glass of water. Mama Chijioke's eyes darkened as she realized that the conflict between her sons was far from over. Chisom, that's not fair, Ezinne interjected, trying to defuse the situation. Chijioke isn't trying to push you away. He's just trying to find a way for us all to heal. But Chisom wasn't ready to listen. No, isn't it? I can see what's happening here. Chijoke think he's the only one who deserves happiness. He's always been the one in control, the one everyone looks up to. But I am tired of living in shadow. Chijoke's face flushed with anger. This isn't about being in control, Chisom. It's about doing what's best for everyone. If we don't take a step back, we are going to destroy everything we've built. The argument quickly escalated, with both brothers exchanging heated words. Ezine and Chika tried to intervene, but their voices were drowned out by the rising tension. Mama Chijoke finally stood up, her voice stern and commanding. Enough! She shouted, silencing the room. This is not how I raised you. You are brothers and you must find a way to work through this together. There is no room for pride or anger in this family. The brothers fell silent, their anger simmering beneath the surface. But even as they tried to calm down, the damage had been done. The old wound had been reopened, and the fragile peace they had tried so hard to build was now in jeopardy. As the meal ended and everyone began to leave, Ezine and Chika exchanged worried glances. They knew that this fight was only the beginning of a much deeper conflict. The future of their families hung in the balance, and they would need all their strength to face the challenges ahead. The ride home from Mama Chijoke's house was silent. Ezinne could feel the tension radiating off Chijoke as he gripped the steering wheel, his knuckles white. She wanted to say something, anything to ease the strain, but she didn't know where to start. Chijoke's face was set in a hard line, his thoughts clearly far away. Beside him, Ezinne felt a pang of helplessness. When they finally arrived home, Chijoke headed straight to the living room, sinking into the couch with a heavy sigh. Ezinne followed him cautiously, sitting down next to him. Chijoke, she began softly. I know tonight was hard, but we can't let this come between us. Chijoke ran a hand through his hair, his expression wary. It's not just tonight, isn't it? It's everything. I've tried so hard to keep things together, but I feel like I am losing control. Chisom is my brother, but it's like I don't even know him anymore. Ezinne reached out, placing her hand on his. He's hurting too, Chijoke. You both are, but you can't let anger tear you apart. You've always been the stronger one, the one who leads. Maybe now you need to be the one to reach out. Chijoke looked at her, his eyes filled with doubt. How can I reach out when he's so angry? He thinks I'm trying to push him away, but I just want to protect what we have. Ezinne squeezed his hand gently. Maybe the space you suggested is what's needed, but it doesn't have to be forever. It could be a chance for both of you to heal, to find your way back to each other, but it starts with understanding and forgiveness. Chijoke sighed, leaning back against the couch. I just want things to go back to the way they were, but it feels like that's slipping further and further away. Ezinne leaned into him, resting her head on his shoulder. We will get through this, Chijoke, but we have to be patient and strong for ourselves, for our family. Chijoke wrapped his arm around her, pulling her close. I don't know what I'll do without you, Ezinne. You are the one thing keeping me grounded right now. Ezinne smiled softly, finding comfort in his words. We are in this together, remember. No matter what happens, we will face it side by side. Meanwhile, Chika and Chisom's ride home was just as silent. but the atmosphere was thick with unresolved tension. Chisholm's mind was a storm of emotions: anger, frustration, and guilt all swirling together. Chika could sense the turmoil inside him, and she felt the weight of it pressing down on her heart. When they reached their home, Chisom didn't even wait for Chika to step out of the car. He stormed inside, heading straight to their bedroom. Chika followed slowly, unsure of how to approach him. She found him pacing back and forth, his expression dark and brooding. "Chisom, please talk to me," she urged, her voice soft and pleading. Chisom stopped pacing, turning to face her. "What's there to talk about, Chika? You heard what happened tonight. Chijioke thinks he's better than me, that he's the only one who can keep this family together." Chika stepped closer, her eyes filled with concern. "Chisom, that's not true. He's just worried, like you are. He's trying to protect what he cares about, just like you are." Chisom shook his head, his frustration boiling over. It doesn't matter what his intentions are. He's always been the one to control, always the one who gets the last word. I am tired of it, Chika. I am tired of living in his shadow. Chika reached out, placing her hands on his arms. "You are not in his shadow, Chisom. You are your own person, and you are just as important as he is. But this anger, this resentment, it's only going to push you further apart. Is that what you want?" Chisom's expression softened slightly, but the pain in his eyes was still there. "I don't know what I want anymore, Chika. I feel lost. Everything is changing, and I don't know how to stop it." Chika stepped closer, her voice gentle. "Then maybe it's time to stop trying to fight it and start accepting it. Change doesn't have to be hard or bad, Chisom. It can be an opportunity to grow, to find a new way forward." Chisom looked at her, his defenses slowly crumbling. "But what if I can't find that way? What if I lose everything?" Chika cupped his face in her hands, her gaze unwavering. "You won't lose me, Chisom. I am here. I am not going anywhere. But you have to let go of this anger, for your sake and for ours." Chisom stared at her, the weight of her words sinking in. He knew she was right, but it was so hard to let go of the bitterness that had taken root beside him. Still, as he looked into Chika's eyes, he felt a glimmer of hope. A small, fragile hope that maybe, just maybe, he could find a way to heal. "I will try, Chika," he said finally, his voice hoarse. "I'll try to let go." Chika smiled, pulling him into a hug. "That's all I ask, Chisom. We'll get through this together." As they held each other, a sense of tentative peace settled over them. But both Chika and Chisom knew that the road ahead would be difficult. There were still many wounds to heal, many conversations to be had, and many challenges to overcome. The tension between the brothers was not something that could be resolved overnight, and the future of their family remained uncertain. But as the night wore on, there was a sense that a small crucial step had been taken, a step towards healing, towards understanding, and perhaps eventually towards reconciliation. The days that followed were marked by a fragile calm, as if everyone was holding their breath, waiting for the next storm. Ezine and Chika focused on their daily routines, trying to keep life as normal as possible, while Chijioke and Chisom tiptoed around each other, careful to avoid reigniting old tensions. One evening, Ezine suggested that they all gather for dinner at her and Chijoke's house. It had been a while since the two couples had spent time together, and Ezine hoped that a shared meal might help ease the lingering tension. Chijoke was hesitant at first, but Ezine's gentle encouragement convinced him to go along with the plan. Chika and Chisom arrived early, bringing along a dish to share. The atmosphere was polite but strained, as everyone tried to navigate the delicate balance between being civil and addressing the unresolved issues. Ezine served the food with a warm smile, doing her best to create a welcoming environment. As they sat around the table, the conversation started off light. They talked about everyday things, the weather, work, and the latest happenings in Owerri. For a moment, it almost felt like old times, with laughter and easy banter following between them. But beneath the surface, the tension remained like a silent undercurrent. Halfway through the meal, Chisom put down his fork and cleared his throat. The room grew quiet as everyone turned to look at him. He seemed nervous, his eyes darting between Chijoke and Ezinne. "There is something I need to say," Chisom began, his voice a little shaky. "I've been thinking a lot about what happened, about everything that's come between us, and I realize I haven't fully taken responsibility for my part in all of this." Chijoke glanced at him, his expression unreadable. Ezine and Chika exchanged worried looks, unsure of where this was going. Chisom took a deep breath, steadying himself. "I was wrong to let my feelings for Ezine get in the way of our relationship, Chijoke. I allowed myself to get caught up in something that should never have happened. And for that, I am sorry. I know I hurt you, and I hurt Ezine and Chika as well. I've been so consumed by my own emotions that I lost sight of what really matters, our family." Chijoke listened in silence, his eyes fixed on his brother. There was a long pause before he finally spoke. "Chisom," he said slowly, "I appreciate your apology. I know this hasn't been easy for any of us, but it's going to take time for me to fully trust you again. I am not saying it's impossible, but I need to see that you're committed to making things right." Chisom nodded, understanding the gravity of his brother's words. "I understand, Chijoke. I know I've broken your trust, and I don't expect it to be mended overnight. But I want you to know that I am willing to do whatever it takes to make things right between us." Chika reached over and took Chisom's hand, giving it a reassuring squeeze. "We all need time to heal," she said softly. "But the fact that we are here, talking about it, is a good start." Ezinne, who had been quietly observing the exchange, felt a flicker of hope. She had feared that this dinner might end in disaster, but instead, it seemed like a small step towards reconciliation. "Maybe we can focus on rebuilding trust," Ezinne suggested gently. "It won't be easy, but if we all commit to being honest and open with each other, we can start to heal." Chijoke nodded slowly, still processing everything. "I think that's a good idea, but we have to be honest with ourselves too. We can't pretend that everything is fine when it's not."